Okay, so now we're continuing to talk about why does a river change. And we need to know what is a graded stream. So a graded stream is one which is in dynamic equilibrium with its environment. It has and maintains the correct channel characteristics to transport without erosion or deposition of material. So what do we mean by dynamic equilibrium? Okay, so that let's pretend that you have a teeter-totter, okay, and then you got people on either end of it, and so it can move. It's dynamic. So you can go up on the teeter-totter and you can go down on the teeter-totter, but it always is going to maintain this equilibrium. So that a river does change, let's say during a flood, or a river changes during a drought, but it's going to, over time, have a set amount of characteristics that go with that particular river. So what are the channel characteristics? Well, that's going to be a characteristic depth, a characteristic width, a characteristic shape of the bottom of the channel, okay, and then a characteristic materials that are on the bottom of the channel. So that the river under certain certain conditions is going to want to maintain that shape, depth, and so forth. And so it's going to want to do this, and it's going to want to transport its material, and it's not going to want to erode, and it's not going to want to deposit. So if you do upset this balance, then what it's going to do is it's either going to erode or it's going to deposit until it gets back to this dynamic equilibrium state. Okay, let's talk about what a river profile is. So here, in this picture here, the mountains would be on this side, and then it comes out of the mountains, and the river is eventually going to flow into a body of water. And so in this case, the body of water is going to be the ocean. So this is going to be the ultimate base level for a river system. So it's the base. It can't go down any farther than the base. And so the ultimate base level for a river is going to be when it enters into an ocean. And so this characteristic curve here is going to be called the river profile. And so you might be wondering, why do I have these pictures of telephone poles? Well, telephone poles are going to do the same thing. So that if you've got two telephone poles and then you string a wire across it, gravity is going to pull down that line until it makes a curve like that. Now, if you put it under more tension, then what's going to happen is the curve is not going to be as deep. Well, now let's just imagine that instead of, let's just erase some of this and look at that shape right there. So this shape is being caused by gravity. This shape here is also being caused by gravity. And so that's going to be called the river profile. And so in the top picture, you have the river, what it wants to do, but the problem is that there is some kind of an obstacle in its way. So this could be some resistant rocks. And so what will happen is the water is going to make a waterfall over here, and it's going to begin to erode this part, and it's going to erode it until all of this material is eroded away or is deposited until, again, it makes that nice river profile that it wants to have. So again, a river is going to either erode or transport until it achieves these ideal characteristics that it wants to have. Okay, let's take a break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about the different kinds of landforms that are going to be created by a river, and we're going to begin in the mountains, and we're going to end in the sea.